Testing.
Morning, Ernie. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll get started shortly, but just want to do a call for public comment. If you're joining us in person, thank you so much. There's public comment cards in the back of the room. You can fill that out and bring it up front. Gonna check our hands raised on the Zoom platform. Good morning, audit. Do you have general public comment or comment on our agenda items?
Good morning. I would like a public general comment and all items, please.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yvonne, good morning. Do you have general public comment or comment on any of our agenda items?
Yes, general public comment and the stop work items and item 1, 6, 10, and 7.
Thank
Pretty
you.
much everything.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Good morning, Gigi. Do you have general public comment or any agenda item commentary?
Good morning. I would like general public and then also minutes 10, 11, and 12.
Great, thank you. Good morning, caller. Children's Voices Matter. Do you have general public comment or any agenda item comments?
General public comment, please.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And caller Style Audit. Do you have general public comment or comment on any of our agenda items? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know if you're here to provide public commentary.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'm here for public comment.
Great, thank you.
Morning. How are you?
Oh, we have a special moment? Informs me of these things.
Yeah. Morning.
Hi, Miriam. Good morning. I see you have your hand raised on the Zoom. Do you have general public comment or comment on any of our agenda items?
Hi, general public comment, please.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Just general public comment?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
said, if you're thinking, we can, shoot things past the planning. I was kind of thinking, it's like, something like the Palisades, it's not one of those exemplary, because everybody was, it was all boots on the ground, basically. So we should probably get something nice, frame for all the bureaus.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
You know what I mean? Because instead of having a recognition
I like
of an
that.
employee per se,
Thank the girls.
unless they just tell us at their meeting on Monday that they want to do something like that.
I like
But I
that.
think,
As a whole, the bureaus, yes. The bureaus pitched on. Yeah, widen.
and it goes along with my so-called theory about who the real first responders are.
About what?
Who the real first responders.
Yes, that's right.
And then we can do 5 keys that Friday, but then we do some kind of presentation for the
Right.
bureaus that Friday too.
Mine's 9. Oh, 9. 10 seconds. All right, good morning, everyone. 10 o'clock, President King, I'm putting us into record mode, so we can go ahead and get started.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Friday, October 3rd, 2025. Mrs. Torsky, please take roll and establish quorum.
Great. Hi, Devin Satorsky with the Board of Public Works, taking role in establishing quorum. We're joined by President King, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas. And we do have a quorum. We're also joined by our City Attorney Representative, Ms. Adina Hoppenstand. President King, we have general public comment and multiple public comment only on our Zoom platform today.
Thank you very much. We will get started with general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items. Will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We do not have any in-person speaker cards, so we will start with our virtual callers. But before that, a quick announcement. After our minutes and our bids, I am going to bring up our bureau heads for their presentation first before proceeding with the other items. So, Devin, we can get started with our virtual.
Great. Our first hand raised is caller Audit LA. Good morning. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say that on October 25th, Scientology at Big Blue is going to be hosting or sponsoring, I guess they got a permit to sponsor an entity for having an event. But I just want to give a reminder that even when they're sponsoring, they still use people making $47 a week to set up and tear down. They still use their guards to harass the public on public streets. And they also prevent certain people from the public from entering, even though it's a publicly advertised event. And so I am asking that not only do you not give Scientology any permits for their own events that until they stop doing that, I'm asking you to please stop allowing them to sponsor events because they always control those events as well. They use these as PR events. They use it for photography events, so they can then recruit into other countries. We've seen this pattern for a long time now,
Thank you,
and
Speaker.
it's.
That's time.
Thank you.
Yvonne, good morning. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. I'd like to speak on the revocable permit regarding the management of L. Ron Hubbard Way. They are in clear violation of the structure of the agreement. In addition, there is cited in particular, they are in violation of the labor laws, Senate Bill 854 and the Labor Code 1725.5. In addition, they do not qualify as a contractor, and the contracts compliance offices should reassess the entire agreement. And it is my opinion that the permit should be completely revoked. They do not have the moral turpitude as an organization that supported the hiding of Danny Masterson's crimes during the rape trials and all the other type
Thank
of
you, caller.
behaviors that we
That's
have
time.
needed. Thank you.
Our next caller is Gigi. Gigi, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so Scientology has Sea Org members working on the sidewalks for over 100 hours a week. For their whole week, they're working like hard labor. They get paid $47 if they're lucky, if they meet their stats or if they're not on the RPF, and that's less than 50 cents an hour. Any normal contractor doing that would be shut down. Why is Scientology allowed to get away with this? Look at the Rams last night. They threw for 389 yards, ran for over 130, and they still lost because of one bad call. Even Coach McVay admitted the bad call. But like that, this board would be making a bad call if you let these exploited workers keep working on our public streets. Don't be like Coach McVay. Make a good call. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. All right, our next caller is Children's Voices Matter. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Greetings. Thank you. Right now, as we are all drinking our tea or coffee, Scientology children are sitting in dank rooms or cold basements, getting ethics handlings and sec checked. Punishment in Scientology. Ask sexual questions and what their overts are. They are made to sleep on the floor, cold with no blankets, and often public Scientology children are told they're out exchange, which means they have to pay for their clothing and rent. Many small children are sleeping on 6 deep, top bunk beds, on urine-soaked mattresses and dirty blankets, made to work 12 to 16-hour days. Let's, as a collective consciousness, help these children. Don't buy their fake facades. Thank you so much. I yield back my time.
Thank you, caller. Our next caller is Style Audit. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, I am here speaking for a very dear friend of mine, Miss Cabbage, about special event street closure permits that are taken out in the name of events for minority groups such as Salvadorans, Hondurans, Bangladeshis, and Latinos United. So Scientology does get these permits to target minority groups. And I might refer you to a big expose on financial fraud recently published 2 weeks ago in the Wall Street Journal. Now, in Chicago, their organization looks exactly like the one that Scientology has on Hollywood Boulevard, a 7-story red brick historical building. But inside that building, they were targeting minority groups with a financial fraud in order to finance that organization. So I'm just wondering if their organization on Hollywood Boulevard, which has seen a big drop in recruitment this last year, I just asked myself,
Thank you, caller. That's
what is
time.
it that they're financing? Thank you.
Our next caller is Miriam. Miriam, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning. I understand you have a limited jurisdiction when it comes to the operations of Cult of Scientology, but there's something happening right in front of our eyes. There's very recent documentation of the slave labor workforce of Scientology grinding the cement pavement right in front of the Blue Building. They have no protective gear. They are using electric grinder while someone else is throwing water on a hose to keep that area cool. But they have no protective equipment. Nothing. That has to be a work safety violation, and it's happening on a public pavement in Los Angeles. This is something that can be easily proven. Same goes for all the work that they are doing for these events that are arranged on L. Ron Hubbard Way. They use the slave labor force to set it up. So there is things that you can do about it. That's all. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, caller. Our next caller is Georgina. Georgina, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. I'm also calling about the Church of Scientology's abuses. They have been taking out these event permits incessantly. They're using slave labor to work on city property. They've stolen city property by stealing that street. They went out at night, painted that curb red so that they could have a street all to themselves. That's the neighborhood street. That's valuable property. Parking in Hollywood is at a premium. All over Los Angeles, we need parking constantly. It's an issue, and yet we allow them to steal a whole street without any consequences. They need to be held responsible for their actions. They need to compensate the city for the damage that their planters did for the sidewalks, and that street needs to be opened up for parking. I yield back my time.
Thank you, caller. Our next caller is caller Lurker. Lurker, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, and you'll have 1 minute.
Good morning. You know, you're probably just so tired of hearing all of this, and obviously you can't do anything about it because I'm sure you would not allow these abuses to go on with your children or your family. Fact of the matter is, that is our street. We are citizens of the United States of America. Now, if the city wants to charge people to park on that street, that's completely acceptable. But why is an organization that has proven to be abusive and neglectful to the citizens, because they do nothing for the citizens of any great good value, please do what you can. You're put there for a reason. It was broken from the bottom and it rose to the top.
Thank you,
now
caller.
let's fix it from the bottom.
All right, President Kagan, that's the end of our general public commentary on the Zoom platform.
Thank you very much. We will now transition over to our multiple agenda item public comment, and I will close the general public comment portion of today's meeting. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called. We only have virtual callers, so we'll transition to our virtual platform.
Audit LA, you'll have up to 3 minutes for multiple agenda item commentary.
Good morning, and I wish to speak on the stop orders. I think it's the last three, I believe, and maybe minutes if I have time. But okay, so I want to start with the stop orders. I think this may be a question for Ms. Happenstand or the president. I would like to request a stop order be placed for the R permit on L. Ron Hubbard Way, because I see that like there's always these stop orders, like the two here today, and it's right for something's wrong or something needs to be fixed or addressed, right? You do a stop order. And so I would like to formally request that if it's possible from the public to be able to request them, I would like to know. I know you can't answer me right now, but I would like to find that process out. When it comes to the bureau heads, I have different requests of them. I would like to hear in their reports and their updates. From engineering, I would like to hear more about whether or not Scientology has continued with their street vacation process. I would like to see if they're, if with the R permit, have they gotten themselves into some level of compliance by proving that they have insurance? But I would also like to ask them to revoke the R permit because they have never, from what I can find, based on your own utilities, that your own, information, that they have never proven that they have insurance like they're required. We don't see the bricks, the piles of bricks. They're supposed to have a certain amount of bricks to repair it. They're not supposed to turn it into a private street. They have. They're not supposed to use slave labor. They do. So I'm asking for that from engineering. From Bureau of Street Services, I'm asking that they provide a report as to the permits and why are these permits being continued to be given. I do see they're less. I'm thankful. I think you are weeding it out more. But I've come and told you in the past few events that they didn't have, that they had on their own property, they did not get the required building and safety inspections to be able to continue. So they're still not abiding by the rules. So I don't know why they have a permit for October 25th, even though it's just a sponsor. They should have none. They should not get for Halloween. They should not get for their Christmas event. Because again, it's all going to be slave labor. They will not allow the entire public. It's open to the public, but they will pick and choose who they come. And that's a violation of city permits, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, that's a Ms. Happenstand question. And, so I really want this stuff addressed by the Bureau heads. As far as street updates, again, we would like the street update. As far, I know the bulky trash, I'm sorry. The bulky trash, it seems like you're picking and choosing with bulky trash. We spent a year discussing.
Thank you, caller. That's time.
Thank you.
Our next caller is Yvonne. Yvonne, you'll have up to 3 minutes for multiple agenda items.
Thank you. I'd like to start off with item number 1, where the reference of State Bill 854 and Labor Code 1725 exists in regards to the compliance with labor laws and the qualification of contractors. In doing further research, it refers you to the state for the list of authorized contractors and who is the appropriate party for reporting issues. It turns out that the city of Los Angeles is a legacy city, which means that the city of Los Angeles has the authority, no, the responsibility of enforcing the labor codes, labor laws in regards to contractors. Therefore, the permits that we have been talking about, the revocable permits, the special events permits, all need to be scrutinized by the Contract Compliance Office and canceled. The stop work orders, all of those contractors need to receive demerits or be put on probation. The subcontractors that are inconvenienced and have to chase their money are small businesses, and they are more susceptible to failure financially when their payments are held up or abused the way they are being. The future contracts with those violating prime contractors need to be more specific and targeted for more scrutiny. Finally, the personal services contract has a moral turpitude qualifier in it, and I believe that all of your contracts should have a similar paragraph, and in particular, any special event, any permit, anything doing with Scientology should be denied because they do not have the moral turpitude to qualify to receive any favor from the city. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Chi-Chi, you'll have up to 3 minutes for multiple agenda item comments.
Okay, I want to start with, I think it's number 10, about the bureau heads. I was looking ahead and I see there's a meeting next week about the bureau heads, the directors, and I was looking at the agenda and there's nothing about what we've been talking about. So I'm wondering if the people that are in charge, the people you oversee, if they even know what we've been talking about for over a year when people come and speak for public comment. I wonder why none of the stuff that we talk about is ever on any agenda or that specific agenda for the bureau heads. To the sanitation part, why weren't those 250 bulky objects that were just discarded on the public easement by Scientology, why did it take so long for them to be taken away? And I really don't think that it was sanitation that did it, but why didn't sanitation do their job and clean up that trash? To the streets updates, I want to know why there's no update about L. Ron Hubbard Way and all the complaints that you've heard. I wonder why there's still no parking there, why there's no metered parking, why the RIPS aren't broken up, or why it's not even just on the agenda. Why can't there be some discussion about something? Minutes. I really don't get why it's taken this long, why you guys are dragging your feet and not fixing the public comment section of the minutes. But also I want to know, why in the world is it so hard to find the minutes? Why do you have to go through so much and look at so many different things to find the minutes? And why can't it just be easier? And with that, I just yield my time.
Thank you, caller. Next hand raised is Georgina. And Georgina, you'll have up to 3 minutes for a multiple item commentary.
Thank you. I just want to comment on the minutes. I know the city of LA bought Prime.gov to handle their, what do you call it? The organization of your records for the minutes and for the agenda items, etc. That was bought by Granicus. Well, Granicus is what New York City uses, Clearwater uses it, Seattle uses it, Sacramento uses it. And so you have access to Granicus. So Granicus provides hyperlinks on their minutes to the various videos, so you can point in the direction of what was said, who said it, and you can easily include these public comments in your minutes, but you're choosing not to. Your tech department isn't doing their job. They need to fix this broken system. We should be able to click on an agenda item and go straight to...
Thank you, caller. That's time for your one item. And our next hand raised is Lurker. You'll have Up to 3 minutes for multiple agenda item comment. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hello, can you let us know which items you're speaking on?
A minute.
Okay, you'll have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, is it even documented? Why is it not documented? Why do you ignore public comment in the public comment forum? Why is that a thing? It must be because you're choosing to ignore or hide the concerns of the citizens of the United States of America. This is America, the United States of America. Please stand up for your citizens. You're in that position for a reason, are you not? What was the reason you applied for that job? Was it to go along to get along? Well, that's going to get us in a world of hurt. That is obvious to see. Please, please, and thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, caller. All right, President King, that's the end of our hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close a multiple item public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with the approval of minutes for Friday, September 19th, 2025. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So moved.
First by Commissioner Cardenas, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Great, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted.
Thank you very much. Moving forward with item number 1, bids. We'll be accepting the bids for sidewalk repair program package number 75.
Great, thank you, President King. We are receiving bids. The bids were received on Wednesday, October 1st at 10 a.m., and we're just reading the bids into the record. This is for the sidewalk repair program, package number 75, library facilities, and the bid estimate was $833,274, and we received 5 bids. The first bidder is Access Pacific Incorporated for a total of $878,171. That's 878,171. The next bidder is, oh, thank you. The next bidder is, this is one? Yeah. Okay, sorry. The next bidder is Alameda Construction Services for a total bid amount of $833,977. That's 833,977. The next bidder is Axiom Group for a total of $774,388.75. That's 774,388.75. The next bidder is Geronimo Concrete Incorporated for a total bid amount of $758,046. That's 758,046. And the final bidder we are receiving is PPC Construction Incorporated for a total bid amount of $964,320, 964,320. So those are our 5 bids for this project.
Thank you very much. With that, I'll move to accept the bids. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Great, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the bids are received and opened and declared forthwith.
Perfect. Moving forward with our consent items, items number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So moved.
First by Commissioner Cardenas, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Great, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the items are adopted and carried forthwith received.
All right. We will first have our Bureau Heads update. First up, we have the Bureau of Engineering. followed by Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alfred Mata, Interim City Engineer. I want to thank you for this opportunity again to provide some information about the important work that the Bureau does. Today, we're going to take the opportunity to showcase some of the very important work that our surveying division does. Oftentimes, this is a unique opportunity because oftentimes our survey division, the work they do is done behind the scenes and doesn't always get proper recognition. Our survey work is involved in all the work that we do, from setting property lines to understanding the existing topography that informs our designs when we start designs, to laying out the work when we start construction, and to a lot of other activities. Today, I have with me Louis Miller and Vincent Radcliffe from our survey division, and they're going to share some of the important work they've been doing, surveying in general, but specifically to the Palisades recovery area that they're working on. So with that, I'll turn it over to them.
Good morning, Board. Thank you, Alfred. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support.
And for all speakers, if you can speak into the mic, please. Thank you.
My apologies. If I could start off, I'd like to present the board with a commemorative monument. This is actually what we physically put in the ground to memorialize property corners. So if I may. Thank you. All right, so Edwin and I would like to give just a brief explanation as to what we do, who we are, share some work specifically related to the Palisades fires. First of all, once again, my name is Vincent Radcliffe. I've been with the survey division for 11 years, and I'll let Louis introduce himself and go ahead and kick off our presentation.
Hello, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Edwin Miller, but I also go by Louis, so sorry for the confusion. I want to just start off with a little bit of brief history to discuss the history of Los Angeles as it relates to surveying to help illustrate the importance of our city's control network. So the land was first settled by the Europeans as a pueblo in 1781. The population slowly increased until around mid-1800s. In 1850, California became a state and the rate of population growth increased. As the rate of population increased, so did disputes related to boundary lines. At that time, there were no maps that define any of the city boundaries or property lines. The city lands were confirmed in 1876 by the United States Land Commission with a patent. So the population kept increasing. In the 1950s, it was around 1,600. 30 years later, increased to 11,000. And then by 1890, it was over 50,000. I say all this to help paint the picture of what we do. In the mid 1800s, there was a real estate boom where there was a massive influx of population, a massive increase in population. And this was contributed to the railroads and the discovery of artesian water. So with this massive increase of population, there was land to be sold. So they sold off these tracts of land. When they sold off these tracts of land, there weren't any city streets in place. There was no city system. So the city survey division then went out to these tracts and did a best fit between these tracts to create the city's street, its center line. And then we monumented that point. And that point relates to those tracts. We set that monument and then we set additional accessory points so that in time we can put it back. Sorry, moving quick through. So as the city grew, so did the network. And through these years, we perpetuated its place, and it's been in the same place throughout time. So essentially, for over 135 years, this system has been in place. These monuments now control all the property lines for the public and the private, as well as they control all the improvements historically on the surface and subsurface. And these centerline monuments control the horizontal aspect of surveying. We also have a vertical network, which are city benchmarks are located throughout the city. That was developed in the 30s, and we still continue to use that reference system to this day. And also, I want to explain our support services. One of the main important aspects of what we do is to maintain that network I just described to you. We also do topographic surveys. In the engineering world, they're called pre-design surveys. We make sure that our surveys tie to that network because historically everything's tied to that network. We perform construction staking. So when the design goes to be staked or to be built, we stake it so it can, we know the location of it. We also do boundary surveys. If we own a piece of property, city-owned piece of property, we will locate it. We also survey our right-of-ways, which is also our public land. We handle litigation and investigation requests from the mayor, city council, street use investigation, and city attorney. A lot of those cases have to do was the incident in the right-of-way or not in the right-of-way, and that all comes back down to our monuments. We also do subdivision map review. We have a section that reviews all the parcel maps and tract maps that get filed in the county. Our purpose is to assure that that subdivision ties properly to our network and it is being properly established. We also do legal descriptions where we compose them and review them from the privates. We also do B permit checks where when there's a B permit, we check if a monument's going to be affected or not. Other than monuments, we do sewer gauging, and also we do monitoring of movement, settlement surveys.
Perfect, Alfred, you were ahead. Okay, so this is just a little bit of explanation as to what a monument actually is. Oftentimes you've probably walked right across these, through a crosswalk, through a street. We have accessory ties in the curb. And so that's what this picture is basically displaying here. If you look right in the city or in the center of that street, you'll see a disc much like the one I just presented to the board a few minutes ago. And that is what's considered the controlling corner. Those are tied directly to, as Louis mentioned, sorry, it's hard to get used to calling him Edwin. Those tied directly to the original maps that subdivided the city of LA. So many of the monuments are at surface level, which you would see a spike and washer on top of the streets. Some of them, our most prestigious monuments, are actually the ones that are subsurface. Those actually, we see the least amount of movement. As everybody's aware, street surfaces, concrete, asphalt, they move and they have some play. So anytime we can get something subsurface, that's a more reliable position for us. A lot of our sewer maintenance holes are actually have hooks in them that represent the center line intersection block corner that is to be perpetuated moving forward. And these monuments are actually legally protected through the California Business and Professions Code and also the City of Los Angeles Municipal Code.
So these survey monuments represent property lines. When you go out to a property, most of the time what you see is lines of occupation, which would be a wall or a fence, but those don't hold in court. Legally, the only thing that matters is the fixed line that comes from the title or from your deed, and those have to be established by survey monuments. These survey monuments are a direct perpetuation of the original track corners, and they are the best evidence to establish ownership, and that was created decades ago. So these monuments, they ensure legal certainty. These monuments, they link back to the historical maps, legal descriptions, and plats. These monuments provide settled lines of ownership. They prevent disputes. Whenever monuments are destroyed or placed in the air, they can create disputes, legal disputes, as well as increased costs. And these survey monuments, they are legally binding. These are the monuments that control the property, and that's the law.
If I can add one more thing to that last slide, Alfred's, the previous. Thank you, sir. If you look actually at the plat that's on there, that's the hand-drawn plat on there, it's hard to see. I know you're a little bit of a distance away, but you'll see on there it has the dates going back to, this is actually one of the original Pueblo corners for the city of LA over there by USC. The actual, what's referred to as CLA 1 is actually a charred wooden post that sits on Olivera Street right in front of the church. So just a little bit of, as we were talking about historically, these go back way before any of our time. that's just pointing that out. Next slide, Alfred, please. Thank you. Okay, so survey monuments within the city of Los Angeles. So we have over 100,000 monuments that we have record of within the city of Los Angeles, within our roadways and marking these corners. 85% of those lie on the surface. That's what I was referring to before, with the other 15% being the subsurface monuments. Unfortunately, through our the Streets LA paving projects, we've been able to collect an inventory to start to gauge what type of what of our network exists, what has been destroyed, and it looks as though 50% of our monuments are missing before we even get out there. And that's just due to previous construction activities, paving activities, whatever it may be, and the simple fact there are situations where people don't even realize what they're taking out when they take something out. We also have 18,000 precise benchmarks, and these are what control the city vertically. And all of this is what is the infrastructure that built Navigate LA. So we give you a bit of a brief history there and try to run through it as quickly as we can. But all of this takes us to the impact of these monuments within the Palisades area. So obviously, we're all well aware in January of the devastation out at the Palisades. And that covered about 100 miles approximately. Within that 100 miles, we had about 1,600 monuments alone. As we gave you the brief history, you can understand that those are the monuments that control the properties out there. Property is the most expensive commodity in the city of Los Angeles. So to especially us, and it should be to everybody, these monuments have value, a high value. So what our efforts have to do is to actually get out to the Palisades, start to look into what we have and what we need to do to reconstruct, to start to help those individuals rebuild. A lot of what we're finding, a lot of the instances of where we've lost monumentation wasn't even necessarily due to the fire itself, but it's actually the cleanup effort, which obviously has to be done. But these streets were not made for scrapers and backhoes and random trenches, being dug. We had a situation where one gentleman dug a trench and then walked up to our chief in the field and handed us the disc and said, "Oh, here, you can put your monument back." Obviously, it's not that simple, or we wouldn't have a job. Next slide, please, Alfred. Okay, so it seems like I jumped a little bit ahead. I apologize. But so this is the way we're locating and reestablishing these points within the Palisades is we're finding what exists still, specifically our subsurface monuments. As I mentioned, those are our most reliable monuments. So what we're doing is we're actually doing GNSS, GPS observations, which means we actually set up on each one of these points and we sit there and let it triangulate data for 4 hours. And then from that 4-hour observation, we're able to determine a precise location for where that subsurface monument exists. As we do that, what that does is it builds us a network in terms of specifically related to our focus being on Sunset Boulevard. Sunset is kind of the backbone, if you can picture the Palisades. It's kind of that backbone that goes through multiple tracks. So our focus is to reestablish Sunset Boulevard and PCH and then start building the tracks back in. But once again, we have 1,600 monuments, and each monument, as you saw on one of the other slides, has 4 accessory ties to it as well.
Question on that.
Sure.
When you say you go ahead and it sets up for 4 hours, what's your error rate, plus or minus millimeters? Is it centimeters? What's the error rate on that?
Centimeters, yeah, horizontal, and 2 centimeters. That's why we have to cook it. They call it cook it.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's why we have to process for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But
to make sure
that results.
So it's within a centimeter.
Yeah, horizontally.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
So, sorry, real quick, like
No, go ahead.
a centimeter from here, me to you, is in our world is big, but when you're using GPS, that centimeter now gets spread out over a mile. It's the same It's the same factor. So, GPS is the good tool that we're using.
Thank you.
Yeah, as this is such a large scale area, because of the way the city was originally established, we deal a lot with lot and blocks, but this is a much more expansive area. And you're dealing with tracks that are not necessarily just linear straight lines. Yeah, it's curved, it's hills. You know, you want the pretty aesthetic. Well, now we got to reestablish that. So that's part of what our efforts are, to try to try to get to a point where folks have the ability to know definitively where their property lines are, the city knows where their roadways are, and everybody can start the rebuilding process. So, and as Louis or Edwin, as he mentioned previously, our primary function is controlling these monuments. And to perpetuate them throughout history. That's the basis of what we do. If in a perfect world, we would like to support every single project that we do here in the city and from every aspect, but obviously staffing just doesn't allow that. We would need a lot of surveyors. But if we can at least control the monumentation, then that means everybody's at least starting off their project in the corner where we think the City of Los Angeles Survey Division believes that property corner to be. So, yeah. So now it's open to if you have any additional questions, we'd be happy to.
Well, thank you for that presentation. Pro Tem Grant, do you have a question?
Sure. Thank you. It's really edifying. So going forward, are we still putting physical objects to mark differentiation? And is there any plans to go somewhere different? You know, like had those roving Pikachus that were like placed and spotted. Is there something that you could do virtual, or we're relying on a physical object?
We would have to rely on the physical object. So especially as you get into more detail of land law and how you start to reestablish properties, whether you start to think about land movement, and in California, I mean, it's just moving. And in the Palisades, we move very quickly. So these physical monuments it's the best way to identify property and to be able to retrace a surveyor steps from past years.
Any other questions? Oh.
I had another question. The subsurface monuments, how deep are they into the subsurface? Are they feet, inches? What's the depth?
We go about a foot and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're a foot and a half down, and they have a cap on them. So that way, and those are the ones that are, like I said, those are our prestigious monuments. We've had situations, specifically, as you mentioned, we do subdivision map review, and we've seen situations where a private surveyor has unfortunately didn't put the effort to dig down to find that original monument. We went down and found it, and we're finding, a difference of 6 inches between where they think the corner is versus we think the corner is. That's a lot of money in the city of Los Angeles. So especially if it's a wall or something that's going to be along that line. So.
Thank you. I never heard of the subsurface monuments. So didn't know those. I've seen the surface monuments all over. You go hiking, you see the monuments on the peak monuments and stuff. But I didn't know we had subsurface. So thank you for that.
And actually, like I mentioned before, the sewer structures. When you lift those lids, some of those have 4 hooks in them, and when you string those hooks together, that's the corner. That's the point. Yeah. So, and once again, those are also. Those are subsurface, and those are what we consider prestigious because they don't have the movement that you would see on the surface level. And oftentimes, especially in areas where you might have more land movement than normal, you'll see a situation where the rim has moved and it's offset to the actual structure. So, I mean, that's quite a difference. Yeah.
So also what's interesting is if you drive around, start to look in the center of the intersections, and you'll start to notice lids or spikes, and yeah, that's what we do. So
Thank you for your
surveyor, your eyes can always find.
thank you for your presentation. Are you able, for instance, the gentleman that did his own trenching and bought you this monument, are you able to track down, basically find out where that should go? And if so, how do you do that?
Yeah. So what that ends up becoming is it becomes looking at basically you take all the evidence, right? And so that's what we're doing in the Palisades, for instance. So if we say you have a mile stretch, and typically say in that mile, you might have, say, 10 blocks, intersections within that mile. Well, say in this instance, because people have been physically handing us monuments out of the ground, say in that instance, we only have the 2 endpoints. Then it becomes sometimes a proportionate measurement to distribute between just those 2 monuments to reposition those intersections back where they should be based off original data.
So we are constantly doing measurements and looking at the old records of the old field books from the early 1900s until now, and then making decisions based off that.
Just one last question.
Sure.
So when street services goes out there and starts tearing up roads and redoing roads, are you all involved in that? Do you take the monument out ahead of time so it could be reestablished after the road's been repaired?
Yeah. So what we started doing some time ago, and so this was before I even came to the city, but in 2014 I started collecting data on it. And what we do is we work side by side with Bureau of Street Services. And basically when they have their committed lists of these are the streets we're going to be paving, they share that with us as a division. Then what we do is we send crews out kind of in a priority basis based on what type of work they're doing in the area. And then we'll actually either tie out a monument for to be set after they pave, or we can raise monuments. There's various different things we do to preserve the location of that monument. That's where, when I referenced before that 50% of the monuments were gone, that's where I'm getting that data. And the reason that's so great is because Streets LA is kind of a broad view of streets within the city of Los Angeles. So what that does is it kind of, instead of piggybacking on one council district or one area, one block, it's looking across the whole city. And across the whole city, that's where we're finding basically 1 in every 2 monuments are gone. And so because monuments control every survey we do, that means there's an inherent cost to every project that anybody does within the city because there's a reestablishment of a property.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, well, thank you so much for highlighting the importance of preserving and restoring these monuments that provide the legal certainty for our city's infrastructure. So thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you for having us. We appreciate your time.
All right.
I think we need to go out in the field and see them shoot some lines. Don't you think, the commissioners? Field trip. Yeah. We're ready.
All right, that concludes Bureau of Engineering. And next we have Bureau of Sanitation, our very own Director and General Manager of LA Sanitation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barbara Romero, Director and General Manager of LA Sanitation Environment. Today I will be highlighting just some public awareness events and dates that I think are important for you to know about, and also to make sure that the public who is listening is aware of it. So I don't know if those of you read in the LA Times today, there was an article about the mammals, the marine life in the Central Coast, about over 400 mammals that have died in just these recent months because of algae blooms, climate change, a lot of different factors. And we're experiencing in the Southern California Bay similar circumstances where you've probably seen some of the sea lions and a lot of the mammals having similar symptoms. So in partnership with Heal the Bay, we're convening a Algae Bloom Summit to have a discussion on these issues. We're going to have experts talk about the science behind it, talking about the policy, what policy, and also inviting, obviously, the regulators to all have a discussion to discuss what things as a city we should be doing to improve, the environment in the Bay and what role the city should be playing in that. So that is going to be happening on October 23rd there at Hyperion at the ELC. And it's an all-day summit, and we'll have the format will be, we'll have 3 panels, and we'll have a lunch discussion as well. Not the panels, they're being formulated as we speak, so we don't have the final speakers, but wanted to make sure that we shared that and invited you to participate in, just to show up or to play a role in the summit. Thank you for those of you who showed up to the city council, to the public hearing that was held on the solid resources fee adjustment on Tuesday. We are scheduled to be back in city council October 7th. And at that point, the city clerk will certify all the protest ballots, and then that will help us move forward with the ordinance. There has to be some actions in committees, and it's scheduled to be hoping to move forward, and with the goal of having it be implemented by November 29th, so that the new adjustments will start, December 1st. If that is, thank you to all of you for your support, and also it was to all the staff who worked on it for 3-4 years now. And another important announcement is, as you unveiled the Recicla RFP, we have our pre-bid meeting, mandatory meeting for those who are interested in bidding on the RFP, and it's scheduled as a virtual pre-bid meeting October 7th. I was trying to confirm the time before I came up here, but I didn't get the confirmation and I couldn't get on the website. So I'll make sure to get that before I leave here today. But it is scheduled for, and it is a mandatory pre-bid meeting. And then wanted to talk about, I know I talked to you guys about Professor Green in one of my other updates. Well, we have also a Sort LA app. And Sort LA app is another, what's the difference between Sort LA and Professor Green? One is a chat bot. The other one is more of an app, and it's on our website. And the Sort LA is for all of us who are always wondering, where do I dispose my, my trash? It's designed for, it's just a different medium to use, because not all of us want to use the Professor Green route. I think Professor Green is targeting, like our kids, they're targeted for different audiences, but with the same intent to for residential curbside. How do you dispose of it? Where do I put it? And how do I prepare it? And who do I call? Like in bulky item, it is, yes, I am working to get to a point that we pick up everything, whether you report it or not, whether it's in front of your house or not, that we pick up everything. We're hoping to get to that point. We're not there yet, but there's a reason why we have different trucks picking up, mattress. We don't, and stuff that, a mattress, we want to make sure we get money for recycling the mattress. So we want to make sure we minimize the contamination. So that's why we need to have separate trucks. It would be great to have a truck with 3 different parts. So then we don't contaminate and we can use one truck to pick up everything. But that is, we're working towards that. But the Sort LA app is just another vehicle to provide, ready, basic information on how you can dispose of your trash. And it's available on our website, but you can also download the app if you want. Those are just, for the sake of time, I reduce it to those announcements to share with you, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? I had a quick question. I know you mentioned the AI tool, which I had an opportunity to play around with, and I just think the potential of that is so huge.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I was going to ask about 311. I think there's just so much potential integration that could happen. And I know you were mentioning just now with regards to the, bulky item pickups and such. I know that those are the top calls that 311 gets are for bulky items, for illegal dumping, I think are number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to ask about 311. I know with the switch over, it's been growing pains. I know I can speak for myself whenever I'm out in the community and we're hearing from folks, they have a lot of, issues, concerns, and I'm just, maybe you could speak to how the Bureau is kind of working with the vendor and, the department managing 311 and are those things getting better and how we're addressing and how best we can maybe communicate to the public about, what the improvements are going to be coming forward.
So from sanitation's perspective, I know that there is a report back that is being scheduled at committee on exactly this issue. From my perspective is that there is still some operational kinks that are being worked out of, as basic as the GIS, even the old system, when you put the marker down, it didn't always get your house. So it's those kinds of kinks that even like where the bulky item or the illegal dumping location are. So it's taking our staff, like we're having to manually look it up. So it's caused a lot of overtime because we're having to come in, our staff who schedule the bulky item deployment are usually at the yards at 4. They've been coming in earlier and staying later because we're just having to manually adjust until we work with the vendor to work out all the kinks, because even though we're the highest users of it, it's designed to work for the entire city. So our issues are still being addressed, and a lot of them have been addressed, but until the customer feels they're still having to call back, and they're calling longer. I mean, one of the number one issues that I heard when I started here was closing a ticket when the item was still out there. Well, is it still doing that? Yes. So there's those kinds of kinks that are still being worked out, that there's they're system based. So as the goal is to get there. So we're not there. So we just ask the residents for their patience until we get there. But the goal, some of the features are more modernized and updated, but there's still just the realities of the bulky item, just the magnitude of the amount of bulky item requests we get is part of, I think, part also of the challenge that we're having to deal with as a city.
I know you touched on it, but it's really important that we document on our end, on the Bureau staff, their experiences, how they're, whatever those issues are, documenting them so that they can be addressed methodically,
Yeah,
especially what ongoing, but also, the next update to the contract, for example, or even, a wish list, like integration with the AI tool that we already have,
and
those
that's the
kinds of
problem
things.
is we had our own, for example, so ITA is leading this effort, is overseeing this. So we had our own contract to do our own upgrades, and then we were going to integrate. But instead, we, as a city, to have one unified system, they want, it was first, let's modernize the 311, and then integrate us. That will be my number one thing on my list is let us modernize as far as we can go, and then we can integrate, because you're not going to deal with all the operational issues that we're facing. So that would be my top of the list is listen to staff and address a lot of the operational issues, because so then they can talk to each other versus waiting for the system, citywide system, to be modernized and upgraded, and then waiting for that, waiting for our turn to address some of our more unique issues. So I think we deal with this all the time. Everybody, we all want to customize it. Is it
Mm-hmm.
the right thing to do? Not always, but in this situation, because of the amount that we get, the requests we get, I have a different position today as a lesson learned.
Oh, Commissioner Martinez?
Yes, just reminding me about the Recicla, and it's coming up next week. What's the response been from the industry on the new bid requests that we're getting? Is specifically the Scout truck model that is being presented? Are we getting some positive, negative feedback? What's the feeling out there?
So we have 124 questions that were submitted. And I haven't seen the list, but from talking to staff yesterday, um, a lot of them are about clarifying how we're going to use a Scout. So I'm trying to, my goal is to have some, at least some direction or resolution by the 7th. And if not, we'll say it then that we are planning to provide some addendum to clarify
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to proceed, because there's some legitimate concerns that I said to you here, but I also have said to the Teamsters and to anybody who asks about this to me, is that we need to address the unintended consequence of that, but we need to also, but I can't, the request is eliminated, which is, that would be the easy solution, just eliminate it. But there was a request in a spirit of trying to provide additional economic
Yes.
small business opportunities, and we can't lose sight of that as well. So what that middle of the road could lead to without having that significant impact that was raised. So that, I was hoping, it's not as easy as it looks, all the nuances. So you have my commitment to, if it can't be solved, that you'll hear, I'll make sure to make that addendum. But it's I don't want to be, my commitment was to solve it by the 7th, but if it can, and we still have to continue, because we
Correct.
have to have a thoughtful resolution to address the spirit of it and the unintended consequence. So
Well,
I'll keep you posted on the progress.
no, and I agree with you. There's to just say, oh, it didn't work is not the solution. I think we need to push through, and I think the industry will step up and reach an agreement with this, and it's a huge opportunity for small businesses out there. So I think we need to stick by that. I look forward to seeing the
Right.
progress you make.
And that's when and for those of you out there, because Recicla changed how we are, hauling
Mhm.
and disposing of our trash in the city of Los Angeles. So there's a lot of companies who can also use this opportunity to grow,
Correct.
if they have, and I'm not hearing enough from because all I'm hearing is there's not enough of them. But we won't really know until midway. So that's why I want to be able to have a thoughtful resolution that addresses the legitimate concerns that were raised with that. But
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
All right, commissioners, any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll proceed to our agenda. Thank you very much. All right, thank you to our two bureaus for their updates. Moving back to our item number 6 from the Bureau of Sanitation, request for authority, Southern California Coastal Water Research Project.
Good morning, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, and Commissioner. I am Dr. Mahesh Pujari. I am the Division Manager of Environmental Monitoring Division. This is a kind of a scientific division for environmental studies and permit compliance. So this project I am presenting is the compliance for the NPDES permit of Terminal Island and Hyperion. And I can go back a long story about the importance of the project. And before I say that, since it is a 11th amended project, and every amendment goes for 5 years, it's a collaborative project. So I'm fortunate to be the project manager to lead this project 9th and 10th, and I am coming to 11th. So I have a lot of curiosity, a lot of knowledge on these projects, but we don't have much time to discuss, but I'll go little briefly about it. For this project I'm presenting, it will cost the city $3.185 million over 5 fiscal years. We have already paid funding for this fiscal year to SCORP because there is part of the 10th amendment. And this 11th amendment will go from July 1, 2026, next fiscal year, until June 30, 2032. Reason we are doing so ahead of time, because this has to go to CAO, Environmental Justice Committee, and to Mayor's City Council. So it takes time. Every time we have done it, it takes roughly close to an year. So we have time to do it. And for a breakdown, it will cost next fiscal year about 600,000. Next fiscal year, 618,000. It is goes on breakdown. But just a brief comment I can tell you, these days things are so expensive. In 600,000, we cannot buy good equipment, forget our hiring staff. Because with such a collaborative project with all our sister agencies like LSN, with our LA County Sanitation District, Orange County Sanitation District, Ventura County, then Orange County Water District, USCPA, all are joined hand together, and they identified SCORP, Southern California Coastal Water Research Institute, and they identified in the permit of Terminal Island and Hyperion that either we have to go to SCORP for this project, for collaboration and do the project for public health, or we'll find another agency to do it which is capable of doing it. To be very honest, with my knowledge, it is the best agency in this country. There are none. SCORP is the best agency, and probably, I will proudly tell you that SCORP is probably one of the best in the world. So they're doing a great job, and spending so little money, we accomplish a lot. Of course, we meet the permit requirement. In accordance with the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit, which is NPDES permit, the City of Los Angeles, Hyperion and Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant is mandated by the Regional Water Quality Control Board, USCPA, and the State Water Board to form a joint team for the monitoring of the BITE program. BITE program is that it is on the north, the point of conception until the Mexican border. So you look to the map, it is a banned piece of land, and a lot of human development took place in last 50, 60, 70 years, and all pollution has been entered to this piece of land where a lot of habitat living. So the entire project regional board is telling us, focus on the piece of bent land, buy it, and develop a program so that we can monitor every aspect of public health. And if we identify the pollution, we can make a plan jointly to control it. And this has become very, very effective, and it's a dramatically significant contribution to the public health. And now, about this JP, a joint power agreement, where I'm talking about 11th, we have already done 10 times. So the project is pretty much established, working together. And all this started in 1969. And in 1969, there were only 5 agencies. The agencies were City of Los Angeles, San Diego, Senators and District of Los Angeles and Orange, and Ventura. These are the 5 agencies started in 1969. And because this joint venture was so much rewarding, in 1990, Ocean Council Protection Agency, is in California agencies, California Natural Resource Agency, all the stormwater agencies, because people thought that only the treatment plant is sending pollution to the water. That's not true. If you look at it now with the modern science, what we are doing, we really don't do any pollution to the ocean, and all documented. The stormwater runoff is the biggest pollution the country is facing. So they are there. LSN become very proactive. US EPA, State Water Board, Regional Water Board of LA, Santa Ana, and San Diego. We are all in one team right now, and it happened in 1990. And all the funding we are giving City of LA, it is every time they need this agreement, they look at the project, what are we going to do, how much is it going to cost, and they divide it with the participating agency. So that's why we, with the 600,000, City of LA cannot buy 2 equipment to do this project, but you can accomplish a lot putting all resources together. So this again, this project is purely paid from the SCM fund, so it will not impact the general fund. And sanitation is very proactive on this project. Also, we have to do it because it's mandatory for the City of LA to participate in this project and report the data, report final report to regional board. So although it is mandated by our NPDES permit, it is a great public health project and benefits the society and City of LA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by President Pro Tem Grant.
Great, we'll take the roll call, starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. Aye. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the report is adopted. Carries forthwith.
Thank you very much, and we'll try to move as quickly as possible. Moving on to item number 7 for Council District 11, Request for Authority Supplemental Task Agreement Form Incorporated.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Christina Jones. I work for LA Sanitation Environment. I'm here for item 7, Request for Authority for Supplemental Task Agreement. This is specifically for TOS 007A, which supports program management for Pure Water Los Angeles, which, as you know, is a major city initiative to deliver a massive upgrade to our water and wastewater systems to deliver recycled water. This work has been ongoing since July of last year, and we are purely seeking to extend the expiration of this agreement to end on December 31st of this year. We are not seeking any changes in the scope or the budget. This is purely to make use of the remaining funds, which we still have access to. Also, this is called a supplemental task agreement just because of the terminology and the timing of this agreement. So I just wanted to point that out. But otherwise, that's it, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move.
Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas. Aye.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 8 for all council district, request for receipt and approval, 5-year update on the city sewer system management plan.
Oh, great, yeah, of course.
Okay. Hello. Good morning, President King, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tempore Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Cardenas, and City Attorney Hoppenstand. I'm Sam Naveed, Assistant Division Manager at the Wastewater Engineering Services Division with the Bureau of Sanitation. I'm here today to request the board's receipt and approval of 2 regulatory documents. The 2024 Sewer System Management Plan Audit, referred to as SSMP herein, which is conducted biennially, which means every 2 years, and the 2025 SSMP update, required every 5 years under the State Water Resources Control Board's General Order. The SSMP is a critical regulatory document guiding how the city manages its wastewater collection systems. Its goal is simple but vital: to minimize sanitary sewer overflows, we refer to them as SSOs, and ensure reliable service that protects public health and the environment. The plan addresses system evaluation, capacity assurance, maintenance, and emergency spill response. Each year, LA Sanitation inspects roughly 600 miles of sewer lines using closed-circuit television technology, referred to as CCTV. Pipe conditions are rated on a 1 to 5 scale using the NASCO standard, allowing us to prioritize repairs and replacements. Flow monitoring is conducted using area velocity monitors, ultrasonic meters, and laser flow meters. For new developments that add more than 10,000 gallons per day to the system, sewer capacity assurance reports, or SCARs, are required to ensure growth does not compromise service. The city's sewer system continues to maintain high performance levels. Between May 2021 and May 2024, the system maintained an average spill rate of approximately 2.12 spills per 100 miles for SSOs across Hyperion, regional, and terminal island systems. The vast majority of these incidents were small, with nearly 90% of them falling under the lowest severity category. Only 5% of the spills ever reached surface waters, a significant improvement with 25% for comparison for other large agencies, and nearly 95% of spilled volumes were recovered, which minimized environmental impact. Excluding a single large flood-related spill in February 2024, our performance would have been even stronger, below 2 spills per 100 miles. The top 5 causes of spills, roots, debris, structural failure, pump station failure, fat oils and greases, referred to as FOG, again, in the industry, account for 97% of all incidents. The city maintains a robust preventative maintenance program, including scheduled sewer cleaning, root control, easement, and maintenance hole upkeep, and pump station inspections, odor, pest, and fog management. All new or rehabilitated infrastructure follows the city design's manuals, including the Green and Brown Book specifications. Contractor emergency response plans and on-site inspectors help prevent construction-related spills. Our spill emergency response plan ensures notifications through 311 by means of 24/7 monitoring. Overall, the city is one of the best performing large sewer agencies in California. Nearly all spilled wastewater is recovered before it can cause any environmental harm, and this includes our fog control program, which further reduces spill risks. Upon the board's approval, LA San will submit both documents to the state and make them available online and at work sites. While the submittal deadline was May 5th, the system remains open for uploads, and I have previously contacted the State Water Resources Board regarding this. There's no fiscal impact and no project funding required for this action. In conclusion, the 2025 SSMP update demonstrates the city's sewer program is effective, proactive, and nationally competitive. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. We have a question from President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for your report. On the 3rd page of the handout, the introduction system overview, you talk about the SSMP applies to 3 collection systems. Glendale is not mentioned in that one. Is there a reason why Glendale is not included?
Yeah, so each region conducts its own SSMP report that we just manage the sewer outflow from Glendale, not necessarily the SSMP plan for Glendale.
Separate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, is there a first and a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Great, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you.
And then just a quick note on this, although the board has approved, I will follow up to schedule a little bit more of a discussion related to this with the board. So thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Moving forward with item number 9, personal services contract for Famarine Commercial Driving.
Good morning, President King. Good morning, Commissioners. You guys can hear me fine?
A little closer.
A little closer? All right.
There you go.
So my name is Ricardo Flores. Today I'll be presenting item number 9, requesting authority to award and execute personal service contract with Famarine Commercial Diving for Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant annual outflow inspections. So we're making 2 recommendations. We're recommending the board to approve and forward this report with transmittals to the mayor and city council with the request that the Board of Public Works be authorized to execute a personal service contract with Famarine for the annual outfalls inspection. Second, upon the mayor's and council's authorization, the president or 2 members of the board will execute the contract. A little bit background. LA Sanitation operates and maintains 3 outfalls at the Hyperion treatment plant to discharge the treated wastewater. So we have the 5-mile outfall, which is our main point of discharge. We have a secondary discharge point, what is known as the 1-mile outfall. This outfall is only allowed to be used during emergency cases. And then we have a 3rd outfall, which is the 7-mile outfall. This is a decommissioned sludge pipeline that is no longer in use. It's been out of service for decades, and there are no immediate plans to reuse this asset. As part of Hyperion's NPDES permit, in order to comply with the EPA and the Water Quality Control Board, we were required to perform annual surveys and inspections of both the 5-mile and the 1-mile outfall. And included with the 1-mile outfall inspection, we are required to inspect the 1-mile surge chamber structure, which is essentially a second portion of the 1-mile outfall. These surveys are meant to determine the structural integrity and flow distribution throughout the outfall pipeline. The inspection findings are then submitted annually and supported with documentation, a report, and along with any video and images taken during this inspection. On occasion, we do inspect a 7-mile to verify the structural integrity, but this is not a permanent requirement. This is just something that we do to ensure that the structure will not pose any risk to the general public or to the marine life. And so due to the technical nature of these inspections, we often use professional diving and undersea services. The current service contract is held by a company known as Ballard Marine. However, their contract is set to expire this year, and therefore, so we can remain in compliance in the years to come, we are looking to retain a contractor to complete future inspection services after this contract expires. So the board had previously authorized LA San to distribute a request for proposal to solicit proposals from qualified contractors for these inspection services. On the submission deadline, LA San received a total of 4 proposals. These proposals came from Famarine, Aqueous Corps, Undersea Graphics, and Pacific Maritime Group. In addition to these proposals, all proposers were given a chance to interview and go through their proposal and walk us through their approach to work and explain any additional information they felt was relevant to these tasks. A panel of 3 plant staff members were then gathered to evaluate and score all the proposals and interviews based on 4 criteria. So these criteria were A, technical qualifications, B, cost control, C, record of past performance, and D, approach to work. And so an overall score was given to all 4 proposals. And based on the overall score, Famarine ranked the highest. In addition to having the highest overall score, Famarine provided an exceptional proposal demonstrating their ability to provide a high level of inspection while also remaining within the proposed budget ceiling. And additionally, due to their location, they're able to provide us with rapid response diving services in a need if in any case that we have an emergency situation where we need immediate inspection, they can give that to us. And so for these reasons, the Hyperion panel elected to select Famarine as the next contractor for the new personal service contract. The proposed contract has been approved as to form by the Office of the City Attorney, and Famarine shall comply with all city policy requirements. The total project funding is not to exceed $1,891,540, and the contract term will be for 5 years with one 5-year renewal option to be exercised at the city's sole discretion. That concludes my presentation for this item, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the commissioners and president.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Commissioner Cardenas.
Not a question, just a comment. I know it was your first time presenting to the board. You did a good job, so keep it going.
Thank you.
Wanted to echo that. It was a very detailed briefing, so I appreciate answering all of our questions. Any other questions or comments, commissioners? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So moved.
First by Commissioner Cardenas, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Great, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great, all ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
All right, 2 more on our oral report. Item number 11, bulky item pickup drop-off date from the Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, President King and Commissioners. My name is Juan Robles. I'm the Assistant Division Manager for the Solid Resources South Collection Division. I'm here to present the data for the first quarter of the fiscal year on bulky items. We provide a bulky item collection to the residents, a daily bulky item collection to the residents of City of Los Angeles, where they can call in and have items that are larger than what would fit in their containers collected the same day they set their trash cans out. We also have a program that we do one Saturday a month, bulky item drop off for the residents that don't like to set things out in front of their homes, or if they feel that they don't want to wait until their next collection day to have the items removed. We set the dates for the next calendar year for those drop offs already, which is the second Saturday of the month, except for 2 months, which the holidays kind of affected. So on those 2 months, which are September and November, the collection will be done, or the drop-off service will be done the third Saturday of the month. In reference to what's been collected for the first quarter, for bulky items, we have 3 separate categories. We have bulky items, e-waste, which basically is electronic items, televisions, and white goods, which is, you know, your appliances, any metal objects that they would like to dispose of. So for the first quarter of the regular bulky item collection, we've collected 8,904 tons. E-waste, we've collected roughly 92 tons, and on white goods, we've collected 490 tons. On the drop-off sites, or the drop-off events, we've collected 267 tons. Residents have dropped off 1,041 items, which all the items included. We give them the option of bringing in up to a stake bed load of items, except for hazardous waste or building material. And we've had 911 participants those 3 months of the first quarter. That concludes my data. You have any questions? I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Good one.
Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah, just curious, what type of recycling is taking place with any of the electronic waste or any of the waste streams that come through? Does the city participate in any type of recycling program with those items?
Yes, we do. We have vendors for both. The vendors for the e-waste and white goods actually go to the yards when we have, we have pallets, boxes, because we can't set them on the floor. When we have enough for them to come and collect, we would call them and they'll come and pick it up and recycle it. For the metal, the white goods, we have a vendor that we take the items daily to recycle.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, moving forward to our last item on our regular agenda, number 12, status update on major upcoming street improvement projects from the Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you again.
Good morning, President Kang and Vice President Chavez and our former commissioners. My name is Mr. Phillips. I'm with the Street Renewal Division, and I'm here to provide information to the public to inform about our upcoming resurfacing projects that we have, to make sure that we minimize our impact to our community as well as any delays that may come up. So if anybody have any issues or questions, they can reach out to our coordinating section at the Street Renewal Division. And the number is 213-847-3200, 213-847-3200. Currently, in our metro and valley regions, we have no major street projects coming up through the week of October 5th through October 11th. But I will provide you an update for our 25-26 preservation program. So during the week of the 5th through the 11th, we will have completed 20 large asphalt repair projects and a total of 1.97 lane miles. We did release all press releases were distributed and notifications have been issued, and we did coordinate with the council offices and LADOT for traffic support to make sure all the stakeholders were reached in this. And for the week of the 4th, we completed projects in CD, give it to you right here, CD6, CD1, CD12, CD9, and CD13. So in addition, if anybody needs any more information, they can reach out to our website for the Streets LA. It's called streetsla.lacity.org. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Before going to the commissioners for any questions or comments, if you could follow up and submit that electronically, I would greatly appreciate it. I would like to review it as well. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Mrs. Zdorsky, does that conclude our voting items for our regular agenda?
Yes, President King, that's the
All
end of
right.
our agenda item.
Our next item will be on Monday, October 6th, regular meeting, October 6, 2025. I will adjourn the regular meeting and proceed to our special right away. The time now is at 11:33 a.m. All right. Moving along, once again, welcome everybody to the Board of Public Works. Now I'm going to be opening